Plaintiff David Francis says he used to be friends with the defendant, and he's nothing but a compulsive liar. David says after the two of them moved in together, the defendant started drinking a lot, and David even caught him passed out on their front porch one morning. David's suing his former roommate for rent, bills, and a stolen check. Defendant Randall Anderson says when he first moved in with David, they were both single. However, once David got back together with his ex-girlfriend, she was always over at their place, and Randall could not stand it. Randall claims he and David even got into a physical fight over his girlfriend, and he denies owing him for the bills.
Prove your case.
Your Honor, I've known Mr. Anderson for over 10 years now. We went to school together. He's always been known as a compulsive liar. Like, for example, he told me that he was going to join a band and open up for Bob Dylan on tour. He even told me that he was going to buy me tickets and fly me out to see him in Atlanta. Now, I looked up on the internet and saw that Bob Dylan had no tour date scheduled for the East Coast. So I knew that was just a bunch of lies.
Is he a band member of any type?
Not that I know of. He claims to be a musician.
Okay. Sir, you want to clear that up or?
I don't need to clear it up.
All right, good enough. Go ahead.
Back in April of 2008, we moved in together. Everything was going pretty good for a few months. He started drinking a lot. It got to where it was being very disrespectful for me. He was having people over late at night, keeping me awake. And even one morning, I walked outside to go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's passed out in the porch swing on my front porch.
In the swing?
It was pretty bad, yeah, on the porch swing. So back in July, I had to go to San Diego for work. And my girlfriend was calling me saying that he was telling her that I was cheating on her, that I went to San Diego just to hook up with other girls. And he was calling me, telling me that she was leaving in the middle of the night, going out with other guys, that she was sleeping around. I think it was a bunch of big stories because he wanted her out of the house. Okay. She was staying there a couple of nights a week, taking care of the pets and stuff. So I got home in late August and see that all my bills are past due. Nothing had been paid.
But he was only to pay his half, right?
Yeah, he was only to pay his half.
So it wasn't paid because you didn't pay yours either, did you?
No, I did. I was paying online.
So when the bills came, it was only half remaining.
Right, that he was supposed to pay.
All right, do you have any of those bills? Sir, what do you want to tell me about the bills?
Well, first off, I like to say my side of the story because that's all kind of a little far-fetched for me. It started out with him making a phone call to me, asking me if I wanted to be his roommate in the first place. So that was fine. We agreed to split everything down the middle. One of my terms on that was, we were both getting out of a relationship at the time. It was nice, to have somebody. I didn't have to deal with their girlfriend. They didn't have to deal with my girlfriend issues. We were single. We could go out. We could party. We could have a good time, enjoy being a bachelor. With that said, a month into all this, his girlfriend's ex-girlfriend, they get back together. She's there every day. And I can't deal with that.
Why?
Because I just want to be able to come home, watch what I want to watch, be able to take a shower, use the bathroom when I want to.
And the purpose for which you moved in was to be a roommate
yes, sir.
One.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And, so she interfered with what I was planning on doing. She was there every day, like I say. She didn't work. She didn't have, no means of paying for anything. I told him about her hanging out with a particular friend of mine while she was with him in the first place, before they broke up. She was cheating on it, that kind of thing. They broke up and, he was having a hard time dealing with it, and I said, all right, well, look, let's go out, this particular evening. We went out, we had some drinks, we were hanging out with females, what we intended on doing when we first moved in there.
First started, you thought you all were gonna, have a little bachelor house.
Keep my pen paying strong, Go ahead. And, that didn't work out. She called him all night. It got real annoying. I ended up having to take him back to the house. When we got there, she was there yelling, screaming, all this stuff, telling me, I'm lying and this and that. She throwing keys at me and stuff like that.
Object.
So we get inside. It continues in there. She's still yelling and screaming and whatnot. So I threw her keys at her. I told her to go and get the stepping. Go and get out of here. When everything's calmed down, we'll talk about it then.
Okay.
He didn't like that too much. I hit her with the keys. So he came at me. He started fighting with me. We ended up fighting through the house, breaking stuff, going outside, fighting in the front yard. Got up, I was done with it. I left, went to after hours place, and drank, and it started getting real bad with the drinking after that, you know. Won't no other way to
He
to
beat you
deal
down
with it.
that bad, drove you to drinking?
Nah, he ain't beat me down, but, you know.
All right. What do you say to these bills, the utility bills?
I don't know him nothing. I mean.
Did you pay your half?
Yes, sir.
What months are you suing for with regard to the utilities?
For August, September, and October of 2008.
All right. And you have no evidence that you paid your share? In fact, it doesn't reflect that anything other than half was paid. So I'm going to believe him that he paid his half as half was paid for those months in question. Now, unpaid rent, which months?
September and October, sir.
Okay. Did you pay your share?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you have any evidence of such? Sir, did you pay your rent?
Yes, sir.
How?
Cash
To whom?
to the landlord.
All right, so I'm sure you have a receipt.
I don't have anything.
Landlord didn't give you anything?
No.
Did you get a letter from him? You knew you were being sued for rent today, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you think to get a letter from him to say you had paid your share?
I'm in a whole nother state now. I don't even have any contact with them at all.
Okay. What is the stolen check?
I have a copy of the check that I mailed him that he was supposed to pay bills with for $225 that he cashed and did not pay any bills.
Instead of paying the bills with the check you gave him, he cashed it for himself.
Yes, sir.
Sir?
I objected to that, man. I mean,
Did you or didn't you?
I paid the bills with it.
You
I
took it and
cashed
paid what?
power bill.
Can you show me where the bills weren't paid that you wrote the check for?
All right, this bill shows a previous amount due of $704 for power in October, where I paid $500 on that bill. It shows that. That's when I got back in
And you
town.
expected for him to pay the other $225.
Yes, sir.
And I should see $225 as a payment, shouldn't I?
Yes, you should.
All right. And there's no such payment on here. So I'm going to conclude that you owe that. In fact, I'm going to conclude that you owe every single dime that he's suing you for because you have no evidence. I believe him. He has evidence. And I just don't believe you. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.